My name is Ovian Castrillo Hill from Fort St. John in the northeast region of British Columbia. And this is SITU Interactions. In this series, we look at how the Filipino Canadians in Fort St. John interact and share their culture. In this episode, we'll talk about art and interiors. First, let's talk about interiors, the spaces that surround us in our home. Let's find out what is Filipino in a Filipino Canadian home. Let's meet Menchi Carranza. How do you express your own culture here in your own home?
I express it to my altar. I have my Last Supper, and I have a parole that's been there every day. I don't remove it, and I collect some nativity, and I have some Nito plates which I use also for serving some of my visitors. We usually use it for, in the Philippines, we usually put it a banana leaf on top and then put the food on it. So, and also we have in each bathroom, we have the tabo. So it's usually Filipino. You can only see that in Philippine homes here in Canada. So
very good. So were those accessories, the Filipino accessories, where did you get them? Did you bring them from the home country, or did you buy them, or where are they available here in Canada?
So most of the stuff that I got it from the Philippines. I bought it. Some are gifts from my friends, from my sisters and relatives. And I don't find any Filipino stuff that I want to bring here in Canada, so I decided to just get it whenever I go home.
Can you tell us more about the individual pieces? For instance, the parole. What is the significance of the parole?
The parole, it's like for me, every day is Christmas. So, because Christmas is giving, love. So, that's my expression there. So, I don't turn off the light. It's there every day. So, since I moved here to this house, when I hung it there, I don't remove it. So, and
also about the altar, can you tell us what the significance is? Do they have this? Do most houses or homes have this in the Philippines?
Since I was young, we have that already, an altar in our home, and then now my siblings they have their own altar also, and then it's really a big significant for me because the altar where I like here, I have that altar because I get strength being alone here when in Canada since 2004, and if I have problem, I usually talk to them. I gave them my happiness, my problems, my trials. I cry to them. It's not just praying and praying, but it's just my prayer is from my heart. It's not memorization of prayers, but talking to them, it seems like it's there that they are in front of you, listening to you without judgment. And that's why, that's the significance of my altar here in Canada. So,
can we also talk about the Last Supper? Is that something that you find in Filipino homes, Catholic homes?
Yeah, usually in dining room, you can find that in the Philippines, most of the houses there. And then I've read something that the Last Supper should not be in my dining room because it's about betrayal, pain, suffering of Jesus Christ. But for me, it's like Jesus Christ shared her own self to the disciples, and then it's like it's a gathering, like dining. It's dining and it's sharing. So it's like when we eat together in the dining room, we are sharing also. Sometimes it's not only we're sharing happiness in the dining room when we're eating with our family. Sometimes we share also some problems from. So it's like that's the representation of the Last Supper for me. So get together, sharing whatever you feel, and then eating together, sharing the food that you have, and then remembering that it's not only, there are also some people who are not eating. So my dad will always say, whatever you put on the table, you should finish it, because we should also remember the people who are not eating and don't have enough food to eat. So it's like, for me, it's like the Last Supper is all about that. So it's really significant. And when we eat together, we always pray to be thankful that we have something to eat. So that's my Last Supper there.
Thank you. About your, I know you like entertaining in your home because Filipinos like to entertain. Can you tell us how your home is used for entertaining your friends and family?
So for me, my home is open to everybody. When they come here, I always say that feel free. I don't serve you. You will not be what do you call this? Special. So whatever we have there, we share. Get your own food. It's like you treat my home as your home too. So you are a part of here. Don't be shy. So everything is like welcome for anybody who can come here in my home. So
now that you have this home, and you say that you're only able to get the things that you need, accessories that you need when you travel, is there anything else that you'd like to acquire for your home from the Philippines?
I think I have enough already.
Everyone can add elements to their house to make it feel like home. Let's look at some of the ways we can spice up our homes the Filipino way. This brassware are of the same make and style of the large brass faces called gadur, or even large brass musical instruments called kulintang. Another way is by using Philippine fabric patterns as table runners. The unique patterns and colors add to the unique authenticity and ethnicity in the room, creating an eclectic multicultural vibe. This can also be used in the dining room, where it can enhance the dining experience. Other ways include mounting functional items such as hats, in this case a salakot, or putting a fan or abanico on a stand. Or some items can simply be used as intended, like this box with shell inlay. How else can you include Filipino style in your surroundings? You can frame something Filipino, like an antique document, or simply wrap your presents and boxes in Filipino gift wrappers. Now, let's talk about art, specifically Filipino Canadian art in Fort St. John. Can you tell us more about the annual art exhibit of the Filipino Canadian community here in Fort St. John?
Okay, I believe that this is the 5th year, this year 2023, that the Filipino Canadian community will again hold an exhibit, the SITU exhibit that will be held at the Northeast Gallery. It is located at the Northeast Cultural Center here in Fort St. John. So each year there are new artists in different categories that will showcase their skills and creativity. It's an exhibit, so there's different artists, different categories that will showcase different form of art. So SITU is the exhibit that one of the avenues that FilCan had paved to create a place for our local Filipino artists, young and old, to display their work of arts. There are quite a few local Filipino artists in Fort St. John that is very talented and need to have a place to exhibit their unique creations. And this is a brilliant platform for a local, professional and amateur Filipino-Canadian artists here in Fort St. John.
So can you tell us, have you ever joined, when, and what was your participation?
Oh, okay. You know what? I have always wanted to be a professional photographer, but I just can't find time to do it and to have a formal lesson to do the, photography. So in my leisure time, and if I travel out of town, I'll just take picture of, random scenery, random landscapes, and in my own way. I think it's, this is nice, this is good. So I did enter and exhibit one or two of my photos back then, and that was the first time, the inauguration of SITU, and I feel good about it. It was really a good experience. Yeah. And I think I'm gonna join again if I can, and if I had, if I have these pictures that I think is worth joining or worth putting it in the exhibit. Okay, you know what? Having an annual exhibit of an art show in this small city of Fort St. John, that was spearheaded by a well-known artist from the Philippines and making a name in Fort St. John, BC, is a great achievement for us all, for all the Filipinos. It is something that all Filipinos here in FSJ should be proud of. Each of us a unique set of gifts that we'll just have to discover within us, you know. And sometimes we don't feel that it is relevant, but it is. Each year there are many Filipino newcomers in town that came to study, work, and settle here in Fort St. John. And as much as possible, we try to encourage them to take part of this opportunity and be involved. It is also a time of the year where some families get together, where parents with young children educate them about Filipino culture and be a part of the growing community. Who knows, these youngsters can be the featured artists in SITU exhibition in the future. I hope that this legacy that has been conceptualized 5 years ago will continue to flourish and grow to a bigger audience. And I would like to see a new generation of artists in the years to come. Yeah.
How do you think it has changed the city of Fort St. John at large?
Oh, okay. I believe that the city of Fort St. John has always been encouraging in this kind of activity or project. And there are many other organizations in town that the city, promotes when it comes to arts and culture. The city supported it in many ways. And the city is, Fort St. John is a very welcoming and very vibrant city, you know. It's a small town, but it has a lot of appeal to everyone. So I think having a different expressions and style of arts from different artists and categories make the city more vibrant and more inviting for all the visitors.
How did I start as an artist? Actually, my first show was in 2003, and since then I've been a practicing sculptor. However, if I think about it, my art and creative life started well way before that, perhaps even when I was born, because my father, Eduardo Castillo, was a renowned sculptor, and he was a practicing sculptor for 50 years in the Philippines. Because of his art and his very prolific work, I've had a chance to learn and apprentice under him in various ways and forms, sometimes through creating or co-creating the concepts, aiding him with the design work or presentations, and also with actual management and sculpting in the studio. He was responsible for many public art Till today, I think his number of public art in the Philippines is unrivaled. And not only in the Philippines, he has numerous work around the world, including places as far as Domachino in Poland, in Washington, D.C., in California, in Guam, Singapore, Hong Kong, Malaysia, and of course the Philippines and many other places. So I have to say that my father is my greatest influence. Since he passed, my brothers and I have put up a company to preserve his legacy and to possibly build some of the designs that he had made during his life that never have come to fruition. A lot of these designs are magnificent, and we really feel that we owe it to him to have it built. And because we are all trained artists ourselves, with a technique that he has left with us, we are perfectly capable of creating the sculptures he envisioned. I first came to Canada as a visitor in 2009, and then I returned in 2011 as a permanent resident, and that's the time that I've actually moved to Canada. But even in 2009, as a visitor, I went to the Peace Gallery North, and I did observe that the kind of art that was showcased at that time, there were not similar to the stuff that I had done, meaning to say I do a lot of modern art and expressionist art, and the kind of art that I saw at the gallery were more figurative and realist at the time. I'm happy to know that this has changed in the Peace Gallery North, where we have been able to show, and there's now, I think, a greater variety of the kinds of art and the shows that you see at the Peace Gallery North. Since coming to Canada and Fort St. John, I have been able to express myself. In the beginning, it was very difficult because I was raising my young son with my husband. But as he got older, I've had more opportunities to express myself through creative ways. Of course, I continue to create my art in my basement, in my home. Making art is something that I enjoy. I find fulfillment in doing it. I also, in 2017, tried to get space at the Peace Gallery North to be able for me to show, and I was looking for other Filipino Canadian friends with whom I could show with. But it was booked for 2 years still, and I was only given a window to show in 2019. So when 2019 came around, I gathered the creatives here in Filipino Canadian creatives in Fort St. John, and we mounted the very first SITU Filipino Canadian art show. It was a huge success, and it was very well attended, and it was such a wonderful and fun evening. I'd say it was a very successful show as far as our goal of being able to share what it is that that we were capable of doing. One of the reasons behind the SITU show really is for the community to be able to see us in a different way. Before then, the Filipino community was more known as being, say, in the service industries. And while there's nothing wrong, of course, with that, but, you know, aside from those skills, I think there are other skills that we have that are potentially good to share. So I think the SITU Art Show in 2019 was a very good opportunity for the artistic Filipino Canadians to be able to share what it is that they're capable of doing with a greater community of Fort St. John. I think it's very important to have these art shows, not only for us to share, but also for the community to get to know us And obviously, when we have these celebrations and openings, we get to meet people, we get to make new friends, and we can assimilate and share each other's cultures, and in the hope, rather, that we can build a better and more welcoming Fort St. John. The other way that I have been able to share my art is through joining the art competitions that have been put up by the city of Fort St. John. The first one that I got into, rather, because there were 4 that were selected, was to design for the Festival Plaza project. My design, panels, now stands at the Festival Plaza, and I'm very proud of that.
Festival Plaza here in Fort St. John, one of the facilities owned by the city here in Fort St. John. And behind me is the landscape obelisk that I designed. And it is my first public art design here in Canada. And I'm very proud of having this here in my home city. And as I was saying, I'm just so happy to have something like this that my future generations, maybe my grandchildren or great-grandchildren, can see and say, oh, my Lola made that. That was definitely on the bucket list, to have something like that here in Canada.
In 2021, I believe, I also joined another art competition, and this is to design an art trophy for the community awards. This is very important to me because, these are blind art competitions, meaning the judgment is based solely on the design or the art itself, and it's without them knowing who the designer is. So for me, winning a second time or a second competition is just affirmation for myself that maybe I can make it in Canada as an artist, as just like I did in my home country. It was difficult. Because it's a competition, you never really know if you're going to make it. But I did feel that maybe there was a disadvantage in that I'm not a digital artist. I draw things by hand still. And sometimes I don't know if that plays against me. But that was definitely one of the concerns when I turned in my designs. Oh, I've been quite prolific with my work as well, since I started in 2003 with a 14-foot Christmas tree at the lobby of the Makati Shangri-La in Manila, Philippines. I've created quite a bit of work in the Philippines. I also have some work in Macau, in Hong Kong, in Taiwan, in private homes in the US, and here in Canada. I work with mostly metals and wood. I do public art, huge monumental sized artwork. My biggest is the Path to Prosperity, which is the signature sculpture of the Philippine Stock Exchange, and that is 2 meters by 3 meters by 4 meters. I've also created quite a number of other 3-meter sculptures. But then I also have a lot of gallery pieces, pedestal pieces. I've only actually had my second one-woman show recently, March 2023, in Manila, Philippines. The ribbon was actually cut by the Canadian ambassador to the Philippines, Ambassador David Hartman, and that was a very huge honor for me as a Filipino Canadian. But that show, called One Woman, was actually born from my present status of having dual cultures and expressing those dual cultures in my artwork. I think it's very challenging for a lot of immigrants who come to a new country. And by this, I mean immigrants of any profession moving to any country that's not where they're originally from. They'll probably have to adjust and take on jobs that were far from what it is that they were doing in their home countries. Moving to Fort St. John was no exception for me. It took maybe 6 years of raising my son and getting settled into the Canadian life that I finally found the need to express myself this way artistically here in Canada. And Fort St. John did not disappoint. I'd like to thank actually the city of Fort St. John for the opportunities that it has given the Filipino community, not just myself, to expand, be ourselves, express ourselves. And a big part of that would be the Arts Council, the Fort St. John Arts Council, which has given FilCan their support. And through that support, we have been able to help others as well. I'd also like to thank the Filipino community in Fort St. John at large for supporting the Filipino creatives. And I would also like to invite the newcomers of our ever-growing community to find the confidence to express themselves, whether it's through art or other art forms such as music and dance, or just being vocal and meeting people, exploring what it is that we have in town, what we have to offer. And I'd like to invite everyone to also give back through the talents that they do have. My dream? My dream is to make the Filipino-Canadian Friendship Monument. I understand we don't have one yet, and I definitely would want to be the one to do it. Art and interiors are part of expression in the intimate spaces of a private home. They create identity and is in itself a celebration of culture. Through art and interiors, we have interaction. As this is the final episode of SITU Interactions, I'd like to thank you for watching this series. This has been your host, Ovian Castrillo Hill, highlighting the experiences of the Filipino community in Fort St. John.